good morning to our viewers all across the world. Welcome to your Poetic Interlude on the Weekend Show. My name is EMEKA OZORUMBA, and today I'm going to be talking a little about voter apathy and elections. The title of my piece is Fools Die. Only fools die when they should be living. Only fools plunge their life away as the hedonist of a pathological specimen. And why think this narcissistic debacle is affable? That the litigant and plaintiff have become the victimized. The first time they were victimized was when they voted horror into power, and the horror used the power horrorfully. And what does that achieve? Nothing of progressive substantiation, nothing of concretization, nothing of a demi-fraction of justice. We're asking for just a tiny decibel from the wholesome. The constabulary ratio has been pillaged into decibels. Our oil wells, our gold mines, our national treasury, our solid minerals, our essence to the basis of life. And yet fools continue to play as their deadly pawns, putting their soon-consumed feet in the front line as the frontiers and going back home in a coffin. Is that not so? Many people that spurred election, violence, and chaos have died in a hysteria of forgotten numbers, and still they are very ample still in the wager. There are many more that are ready to set our country in flames and flares just because they want to become elected. This is their insurance policy. They say it would bring money to long suffering, but yourself would not partake in that victory simply because you seem to ally yourself to disastrous and insane discretion, starting up a fire and getting fried in the fire. To stand on the oddity of funambulism, a sordid resolution of this mishap, throwing your life away to be some pawn in the hand of a politician, is worthless. But in what umbra am I making these umbrages? There are those that want Nigeria to be ruined in shambles, but not me in these baleful sequins. My gain in life is that Nigeria must triumph. My gain is that the right to life of Nigerians must be increased. But I don't want to talk about heroic encumbrances. I only want to talk about the simple and ordinary, the affordability of all Nigerians to live in peace and prosperity. A lot of things about Nigeria needs to be rearranged back into accordance. As a country, our strength is not in crude oil, but in our numbers and our workforce. Our wealth is not in gold, but in ourselves. Our common hopes are in the hands of each other. So why can't we unite? Why can't we resolve as a country toward progression? The thought of being patriotic is not for fools. We must be willing to serve our fatherland. We must be willing to use the principles of fairness. We cannot keep degrading our country into uncertainty. As a country, we must have an assertive stance. We must say no to election violence or aggression. What does an election have worth over human life? It is not so. Elections are worth nothing in comparison to human life. In any election, there must be winners and losers. So all must take heart beforehand to stand victorious in the face of victory or defeat, so that if election loss or victory comes, it's taken with controlled condolence toward the thought of true democracy. You, the winner, must brace yourself for the task ahead. You, the loser, are not a loser, but also a champion, because you have contested also among champions. So there is no need to take an election personal. An election is only to reconcile public interest to governance and the helm of developing a country to its highest state of growth and progress. Squandering human lives for political power is an identical misnomer with depression and repression and suppression and a detox depression. In this game of political power, only fools die when they should live their lives to utmost and complete fulfillment. If some people had to use their own children as political thugs, they will never have become politicians. They would say, how can our own children die for no just cause or for another man's greed? But the statements resound so well that their children have no stakes in hooliganism and thuggery. What you strained and stressed to get, you would never squander unreasonably. What you smear in the eye of this aberration is deadly unrealism, and it's anabolic diabolism. When you start to hear one snake ate 100 billion, one cat chewed 100 trillion, one fish stole 90 barrels of crude oil, and by the time I hear this, many fools would have died, because before they start their bedtime stories, fools die. Yes, this piece talks about voter apathy and why you should not throw your life carelessly to the hand of a politician when you have so much more life to explore and expound on. My name is EMEKA OZORUMBA. I just want to shout out to my lovely producer, Andy Madaki, Didi, my lovely friends on the weekend show, Aisha B, Ayu Adams, Chef T, and everybody here, Idayat. Please don't go anywhere and stay tuned. We're a fun family here on the weekend show, and we have the politics segment coming up next on the weekend show.